Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. In today's episode, I want to cover the giggling killer. Shaye Groves is currently on trial for killing her boyfriend. And she is alleged to have giggled after she stabbed her boyfriend to death while he slept. And she is said to have lied to police that he had raped her and threatened to leak a sex tape of them on Facebook to make his life a misery. That is what is being heard in court as we speak. Let's dive into what we know at this time about the giggling killer. Be right back. A woman who allegedly giggled after she stabbed her boyfriend over 20 times to death in his sleep lied to police that he had did the unthinkable to her and raped her and threatened to leak a sex tape of them on Facebook to make his life a misery. That is what is being shared in court as we speak. You see, Shaye Groves, who is a mother of one, is said to have killed Frankie Fitzgerald at her home in Havant, Hampshire on July 17th of 2022. Shaye Groves, she is known to be a big true crime fan who has pictures of serial killers such as Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer on her bedroom wall. And she is said to have launched a passionate attack on Frankie Fitzgerald at her home last year. This is Frankie here. Frankie, of course you always get two sides to every story, right? Well, he is not alive to give his side. She is given a side in self-defense, which is hard considering that he was asleep when this happened. And so that's why they say this is a crime of passion. And prosecutors, they told Winchester Crown Court that the 27-year-old fabricated claims that her boyfriend had abused and raped her and had previously threatened to make his life a misery by leaking videos of the pair. And it is alleged to have started using cocaine together in the months before the killing and even having sex. However, jurors heard that Groves was obsessed with Mr. Fitzgerald's performance in the bedroom, with the couple's sex life involving BDSM, which is bond/idge. Trying to break this up a little bit with the right words for YouTube to not slap my hand. Also the D being dominance, and the S being submission, and then the M being, I will mispronounce it a little on purpose, masochism. So I know I'm mispronouncing that. I'm doing that on purpose. But I'm guessing my audience knows what I mean by that, right? And so that was one of the things that drew Shaye Groves to Fitzgerald. He was allegedly unbelievable in the bedroom and she could not get enough of it. That is what is alleged. And those recordings, they showed that these sex acts had been consensual. That there was no way that he could have done raped her, what she is saying. And so this is what their life was like. You see, Mr. Fitzgerald, he was an on-again, off-again boyfriend of Shaye Groves. And so they had one of those relationships. Him being a dad himself, her being a mom herself. And so they had an on-again, off-again type relationship. Now, Groves had even told Mr. Fitzgerald that she could be woken by sexual intercourse in a note that was written by the accused. That's what the court said. That she wrote a note giving him consent that he could just wake her up in the middle of the night doing whatever he wants to her, basically. She signed a note giving permission. That's the type of relationship that they had. So I guess maybe he required her, like, hey, if you want me to do this and you're giving me permission, get it in writing. Is that what could have happened? Because there's a note, a letter she signed giving him permission. Like, okay, that kind of gives you a little detail about their relationship in the bedroom. So that was something that attracted her a lot to him, was he was great in the bedroom. They did a lot of these things that a lot of couples do not do. It's probably a fair statement to say. Obviously, I don't know all that, but I'm guessing this is something that separated them, that they actually connected with, which is what drew her to him so much. I'm just guessing on that, because what else would it mean that she was obsessed with his performance in the bedroom, right? So now Groves, again, gave permission. So the defendant, Shaye Groves, she had also blackmailed another lover with a sex tape by threatening to show the video to his new girlfriend if he didn't do what she wanted, namely a lift in the town and back for a night out. That's what prosecutors are alleging in this case. And so the note read in court, that was read out loud in court, said, I, Shaye Groves, give Frankie Fitzgerald permission to wake me up through sexual intercourse from the date of March 22nd until further notice. That's the note she herself created. And so this mother of one, who is said to have owned 4 decorative knives, so she had multiple knives with depictions of film villains, Chucky, Jigsaw, and even from the movie It, Pennywise, which she and Mr. Fitzgerald used for knife play in the bedroom. Now Groves, she's denying doing this to the 25-year-old father of one, saying that she stabbed him 22 times in self-defense. And so she says, I didn't do this just to do it. It wasn't a crime of passion. She's denying that she did this to the 25-year-old father of one. She's denying that. Now, jurors, they heard evidence from one of Groves' friends, Vikki Baitup, who told police that she suspected the mother of one, Shaye Groves, got a thrill from the abusive sexual nature of this relationship. Winchester Crown Court heard the couple had a camera set up in their bedroom which captured them having sex multiple times, the recordings of which Groves was said to use to blackmail her previous lovers. This was a thing for her. Multiple accounts have come out to say that she did such a thing. In her interview with police, which was played in court, Miss Baitup said she compiles evidence against everyone to see how she can use them as leverage. She said Groves recorded herself having sex with one ex-boyfriend and then threatened to show the video to his new girlfriend if he didn't do what she wanted, namely give her a ride into town and back after hanging out all night. Miss Baitup also told officers that Groves had a violent history, recounting 2 occasions in which she attacked her roommate, Lauren White. Now, Lauren White, I didn't want to put a picture of her on here. There was a picture of her roommate. This is her former roommate, Lauren Wright. At one time, Groves attacked Lauren Wright. Now, when she was arrested For this incident, her roommate, Lauren White, was also arrested at the same time. But she was only arrested because she would not give the police officers the PIN to get into her phone, which is like obstruction of justice when they're trying to get some answers. She refused to give them the PIN. Here she is backing this girl up who once attacked her. Is that not crazy? So here she was attacking a good friend of hers, Lauren White, with some nail clippers, leaving her head bleeding. And it is said that she finally calmed down after she saw Lauren White had blood coming out. Then she stopped her violent attack against Lauren White. Again, a friend, a roommate, she could do this to her as well. And so, I find that to also explain a little of who she is, this Shaye Groves. Now, Groves, she told police that she had been attacked and raped by Mr. Fitzgerald, but the prosecution say all sex between them was consensual and they had a safe word. You hear that? They even had a safe word. It's going to be hard for her alibi to hold up. Jurors heard from Miss Baitup that she told police she thought Groves got a thrill from the alleged sexual abuse that she had clips of. She says, I think Shaye got some sort of thrill or enjoyment from being in the relationship. I got the impression she got a thrill from some of this abuse. That's what Miss Baitup said. In a later interview with police, Miss Baitup said Groves had been seeing another man alongside Mr. Fitzgerald in a balancing act. She told police it was so close to the two of them seeing each other, Shaye was playing them. You never knew which one was going to turn up at the home. In a later interview with police, Miss Baitup said Groves had been seeing another man, and she was basically balancing the two of them together on how she was going to visit and have one over while the other was gone, or making sure that they did not come across each other. And so jurors, they heard that Groves was not shy about talking about her sex life, having made an agreement with Mr. Fitzgerald that she could be woken up by, again, that written note giving permission to wake her up by using sexual intercourse until further notice. She literally signed that. And so it literally was signed by Groves, Mr. Fitzgerald, and Miss Baitup as a witness. That's why this person who is now testifying in court as a witness for the prosecution against Shaye Groves. She saw firsthand a lot of this, including being a witness of this letter, signing it with her signature as well. And so Miss Baitup, she also told the police about Fitzgerald and Groves, how they had picked up a cocaine habit a couple of months prior to this incident. Explaining that Groves' previous violence to Miss White, Miss Baitup said that she had swiped at Miss White with nail clippers, leaving a gash in her head, and her anger only subsiding after she saw a bit of blood. She calmed down. The court had previously heard that after killing Groves, made a false alibi for herself, inspired by tips from true crime documentaries to avoid getting caught after her crime of passion. Such was her interest in murderers, Groves had framed portraits of notorious serial killers, including Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer, on her bedroom wall. That was according to Miss Baitup. You can see this picture in front of you, and you can see the framed pictures behind Miss Groves. These are framed portraits of notorious serial kills, right? Including Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, different people. You can see her wall right up here. Literally, this is how much she was into this type of into true crime. She was a fan of the killers. Why else would you put this up there, right? Why else would you put pictures of notorious, famous, heinous murderers? Why else? This was her. I mean, she even had people like Charles Bronson, not the famous actor, the man who was also a serial killer. This was the type of personality she had. This is who she was. She was a serial killer, obsessed mother who giggled after she brutally stabbed her lover to death before a video calling a friend to show the body of what she did. And so Shaye Groves, she's only 27 years old. She's a young lady. She had all these framed portraits of notorious killers, including Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer. This is her bedroom wall. And she even allegedly told a friend, "I've done him." Those were her 3 words to her friend. "I've done him." And this was after launching an attack on Frankie Fitzgerald, who was sleeping at the time. The mother of one who owned a set of decorative knives adorned with film villains, and she is said to have used bladed articles in the bedroom for knife play and enjoyed those things that I told you before, BDSM. Now again, in her defense, she is denying she did this. She is alleged to have stabbed him 22 times on July 17th before creating a false alibi. And so that's who she was. Now, a pathologist report read to the court explained that Mr. Fitzgerald was stabbed 17 times to the front of the chest, twice to other chest areas, and 4 times to the neck, resulting in his death after multiple perforations of heart and lungs and catastrophic blood loss. Now, footage from the officers who arrived at this crime scene was also played to the court, who reported an incredibly strong smell of bleach in the bedroom. Now, again, why would there be a strong scent of this Clorox, the smell of bleach in this bedroom? The bedroom. Why would that be? Again, where he was sleeping, is that not a clear sign of trying to clean up a scene? This trial continues. She has not been found guilty. She has not been found not guilty yet, right? We're just only going to continue to find out more. But at the end of the day, justice needs to be in play for this young man, Frankie Fitzgerald, taken from this world way too soon. You see, Groves and Mr. Fitzgerald, they had rekindled an old relationship after meeting at a pub in Cosham, Hampshire in January of last year. The court heard how Groves, she grew obsessed with his performance in the bedroom. And again, this includes BDSM. Jurors heard at Winchester Crown Court that after the killing, Groves video called her friend Vikki Baitup, who is also now the one testifying. And she called her on video, and Vikki, she was horrified to see his body with an enormous knife wound. And Groves had allegedly sent Miss Baitup a message in the early hours of July 17 where she hoped to create a false alibi by stating that Fitzgerald had left her home. Miss Baitup, she told police that she received a phone call from a giggling Groves who held a very normal conversation where they discussed their weekend. Groves then proceeded to start a video call where she went upstairs to her bedroom and pointed the camera at Fitzgerald before stating, "I've done him." That's what was said in court. And jurors, they heard Miss Baitup, who couldn't believe it was real, ask the pair if they were having me on, to which Groves went back up to her bedroom to show her Mr. Fitzgerald's body wrapped in a duvet and lying on bin bags twice more. At one point during the call, when Miss Baitup raised her voice, Groves told her, "Shh, the kids are in the house." Miss Baitup continued. Groves got really close to the wound, showing her the big gash. She says, "I don't think I had really grasped what happened earlier. The gash was so deep, it was enormous." And so that's what Baitup is sharing in court in response to Groves' calmly delivered explanation about what had happened, that she had gone through his phone and seen he was messaging a teen girl. Miss Baitup said while he was asleep, she put the dagger through his neck, and that's when he woke. He was asleep. She wasn't even in danger. I couldn't understand if he was attacking her, but she told me he was asleep and he couldn't even fight back. And jurors, they heard from Miss Baitup that Groves had 4 decorative knives hanging on the wall for her and Mr. Fitzgerald, as both of them were into knife play when it came to intercourse. Now, the 4 knives, again, as I shared, they had depictions of Chucky, Jigsaw, and Pennywise on and hung near 2 axes, all of which were easily accessible to anyone. And so the mother, she had gone into detail about this, about different things, even in the past. Now, as I shared, Vikki Baitup, she's given a lot of detail about Shaye Groves. And she even said that Shaye Groves, she had previously gone into great detail about getting different people jumped before she allegedly murdered her lover. That's what the court heard. Vikki, she told jurors that this was why she didn't think anything would happen to Frankie Fitzgerald. She didn't even think anything like this in a million years could possibly happen. Now, speaking about Groves' threat to stab or shoot Mr. Fitzgerald after he accidentally called her by his ex-girlfriend's name, Ms. Baitup said, "I never thought for a second she actually meant it. Not in a million years, even with a good reason, I didn't see anything happening ever." Miss Baitup told the court she thought Groves was all talk. And you can see the knife in the sink that is said to have been used in this crime scene. And so Miss Baitup, she said, "It was never going to happen. I never believed it was going to happen." She has said so many times about getting different people jumped, but it never happened. She's gone into great detail about it with previous people, and it never happened. It was hot air. That's what Vikki Baitup thought about all of her comments in the past. She also said Graves was such a horror movie fan, she gave housemate Lauren White, again, the person who was arrested with her at the time for not giving the PIN number to her phone, she referred to Lauren White, this is Shaye Groves, referred to her housemate and friend Lauren White the nickname of Chucky. Now, Chucky, from the movie Child's Play, which was a vicious serial killer from the Child's Play slasher film franchise. She gave her roommate, Lauren White, that nickname. That is the type of person that she was. So this is who is in court right now on trial for this heinous crime. You can see they even showed in court photos of a BB gun that fires ball bearings, which police say was hidden in a drawer in Groves' bedroom. And this was also shown to the jury at Winchester Court. And this is where it was found in the room. And as I showed you, the image of a dagger that prosecutors say was used by Groves to do what she did to her boyfriend, Frankie Fitzgerald. This is the knife. And so we are going to find out a lot more about this. But truth is, no way, no how he deserved this by this young girl. Why would she do such a thing? We will never know. Why? We will never know. And so this young man suffered catastrophic blood loss from a knife wound to his neck and also 17 stab wounds to his chest, which were inflicted as he was already dying. My friends, this has been another episode of Deep True Crime. Rest in peace, Frankie Fitzgerald, taken from this world way too soon. This is an ongoing trial. It's almost done. If she is found innocent in any way, I will definitely do another video to follow up. But otherwise, it's not looking good for her at this time. My friends, that's the whole purpose of this video, to be another voice for the victims. They're taken from this world way too soon. This young father will not have, the son that he had will not have his father again. Because of a selfish act is what we're learning so far. She was concocting a story to use as her alibi. Because of other true crime documentaries that she had been following and used that in her story. My friends, we don't want this to happen ever, do we? But it happens. And at the end of the day, we want to get justice for these victims. If this is the type of story you like to follow, please hit that subscribe button. That way you get notified whenever I go live or I upload content. I'm Manny Rodriguez. This has been another episode of Deep True Crime. Until next time, my friends, peace. Have a great day.